The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club is infamous worldwide, a symbol of rebellion and, in many cases, lawlessness. From North America to Europe, the Hells Angels name is associated with power, loyalty, and violence. But in Turkey, the Hells Angels have created their own distinct chapter, led by one of the country's most notorious criminals, Necati Arabaci. Necati Arabaci, a Turkish-German crime boss with a long history of criminal activity, has transformed the Hells Angels Nomads Turkey chapter into a powerful syndicate. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, extortion, and violence are just a few of the crimes attributed to this group. Today, we'll take you inside the underworld of the Hells Angels Nomads Turkey, exploring their activities, their influence, and the man who made it all possible. The Hells Angels Motorcycle Club has a long history of expansion, with chapters spanning across continents. In 2010, the Hells Angels established the Nomads Turkey chapter, a move that would mark the beginning of a powerful criminal network in the country. This chapter's formation was no ordinary event. It was created under the leadership of a man already notorious in the criminal underworld. Necati Arabaci was born in Turkey, but moved to Germany as a young man. By the 1990s, he was deeply entrenched in Germany's criminal scene, with connections to extortion, drug trafficking, and prostitution. Arabacı was convicted in Germany for various crimes and served a prison sentence. But upon his release in 2007, he was deported back to Turkey. It was there that he set his sights on creating a new legacy. What if I told you that Arabacı didn't return to Turkey to start fresh? Instead, he arrived with a plan to create a powerful syndicate under the Hells Angels name, a plan that would turn Turkey's three biggest cities into hotbeds of organized crime. In 2010, Arabacı assumed leadership of the newly formed Hells Angels Nomads Turkey. He brought with him a network of criminal connections, a ruthless reputation, and a vision to expand the Hells Angels' influence in Turkey. With Arabacı's influence, the Hells Angels Nomads Turkey chapter coordinated shipments, managed security for drug routes, and established networks with other criminal groups across Europe. Their operations were efficient and highly organized, helping to solidify their position in Turkey's criminal landscape. Beyond the drug trade, the Nomads Turkey chapter has been implicated in human trafficking and forced prostitution, a disturbing facet of their criminal enterprise. Human trafficking is one of the most lucrative criminal operations globally, and Turkey's location and border access have made it a transit point for traffickers. Arabacı's involvement in human trafficking dates back to his years in Germany, where he was convicted of running prostitution rings. When he returned to Turkey, he brought his expertise and connections, using them to exploit vulnerable individuals for profit. What if I told you that Arabacı didn't see victims? He saw revenue. His operation preyed on vulnerable men and women, turning their desperation into his profit. Members of the Nomads Turkey chapter have been linked to both local and international human trafficking rings. They allegedly work with other crime groups to transport individuals from war-torn regions, forcing them into prostitution and forced labor. The profits from these operations have further enriched the organization, allowing it to continue expanding. Within Turkey, the Hells Angels Nomads are known for their extortion and racketeering operations. Under Arabacı's leadership, the group has created a network of fear, using violence and intimidation to control businesses in cities like Istanbul, Ankara, and Izmir. Their reach extends to bars, nightclubs, construction companies, and even smaller neighborhood businesses. Local businesses often face demands for protection fees paid to ensure their safety. If they refuse, they risk being attacked or losing their livelihood. The Nomads Turkey chapter has established itself as a shadow authority in these communities, providing protection at a price. What if I told you that Arabacı's influence wasn't just felt in the back alleys? Even legitimate businesses felt the weight of his presence, paying for safety in a system where the Hells Angels hold the power. With their reputation for violence, the Nomads Turkey chapter has created a culture of fear. Businesses comply to avoid confrontation, knowing that crossing Arabacı's gang could lead to dangerous consequences. Violence is central to the operations of the Hells Angels Nomads Turkey chapter. For Arabacı, intimidation and aggression are tools to enforce loyalty, silence rivals, and protect their territory. Reports link the group to various violent crimes, including assault, arson, and even murder. In the criminal underworld, respect is everything. Arabaci's reputation as a feared figure helped him control his subordinates and enforce discipline within the ranks. Violence became a tool of influence and dominance, allowing the Nomads Turkey chapter to operate largely unchallenged. What if I told you that violence wasn't just a part of their business? It was their business. For the Hells Angels in Turkey, brutality is as common as loyalty. The fear and intimidation they fostered among locals and rivals alike has allowed them to expand across Turkey, establishing strongholds in key cities and making Arabaci's gang one of the most formidable forces in the country. The Hells Angels Nomads Turkey chapter doesn't operate in isolation. Their ties to the international Hells Angels network and other crime groups across Europe make them part of a vast criminal web. Turkish crime syndicates have a history of working with other powerful organizations, and the Hells Angels have capitalized on these connections. Arabaci's history with European organized crime allowed him to build partnerships that span multiple continents. Turkish crime networks have collaborated with Balkan, Italian, and Eastern European syndicates, particularly in drug and human trafficking. What if I told you that Arabaci's reach extends far beyond Turkey's borders? Through strategic alliances, he's turned the Nomads Turkey chapter into a key player on the international crime stage. The global connections maintained by the Hells Angels in Turkey add layers of complexity to law enforcement efforts. The syndicate's adaptability and network support have enabled it to evade capture and thrive despite increased scrutiny. The Turkish government has attempted to counter organized crime, conducting raids and arrests to dismantle powerful groups. In July 2020, Necati Arabaci was arrested by Turkish authorities in Izmir's Çeşme district, a significant blow to the Hells Angels Nomads Turkey chapter. Arabaci's arrest was seen as a victory for law enforcement, but the syndicate's deep roots and extensive network make it challenging to dismantle. With connections across Europe and alliances with other crime families, the Hells Angels Nomads Turkey chapter has proven resilient. What if I told you that Arabaci's arrest might not be the end? That his network runs so deep that the organization can operate even without its leader? While authorities celebrate victories, the group's resources, discipline, and connections mean that Turkish law enforcement faces an uphill battle in their fight against the Hells Angels. The story of the Hells Angels MC Nomads Turkey is one of power, violence, and resilience. Under Necati Arabaci's leadership, the group has grown into one of Turkey's most feared crime syndicates. Drug trafficking, human trafficking, extortion, and violence have left a lasting impact on Turkish society. What if I told you that the story of Necati Arabaci and the Hells Angels in Turkey is just beginning? That despite efforts by authorities, this syndicate remains a powerful force in Turkey's underworld? Turn on the notification bell so that you are the first to enjoy the most compelling crime documentaries. If you enjoyed this video, then click here for another video delving into the inner world of the world's most notorious criminal organizations.